Hey everybody, this is John Oxley with Huntington Physical Therapy, doing my Friday tip of the week. This week's going to be a little bit different. I'm just going to do kind of a educational video where I'm just discussing workers' compensation insurance, some of the things that you need to know as an employee, and some of the questions that you want to ask your employer. There's kind of an alarming trend in workers' compensation in that you are getting these insurance providers that are coming in and telling the employer, we'll cut the cost of your workers' compensation insurance, we'll cut the cost of your injuries. And one of the ways that they're doing that is they are simply going to all the providers that are providing this health care for the injured worker, and they are telling them, I'm going to pay you less. For instance, United States Postal Service just started to use a company called Align Networks. Align Networks has a terrible reputation around the country. They're being sued in California. Basically what they do is they come in and they just tell the providers that we're cutting your fee schedule. And for instance, with us, they came in and cut the fee schedule, what we were paid and have contracted with, by 60%. So there is a fee schedule that the state has set up for workers' compensation healthcare providers, and then this company comes in from the outside and says, oh, we're not going to pay you that, we're going to pay you 60% less. So in turn, what then happens is the medical providers start to not accept you as a patient anymore if you have this workers' compensation carrier, because they can't afford to treat you because the carrier is paying them less than the cost of doing the surgery or rendering the service, essentially. So for physical therapy, I can't actually treat you. My cost is higher than what I get reimbursed to treat you. If you run a business and you're at a negative all the time, you're not going to run a business for very long before you go out of business. And then these third-party providers like Align, they want to tell the patients where they can go based on who is the cheapest provider of that service. Well, most people know if you just buy things based on price, you're also going to lose on quality, right? A lot of things are priced higher because they're made better. You've got a higher quality service. It's the same in healthcare. If you've got providers that are willing to do it for the absolute bottom dollar, are they really going to be supplying you with the best service? Are they going to be the most educated? Is it going to be the highest level service and medical care? Typically, the answer to that question is no. It's no different than any other service. So I guess my point in this little rant is, as employees, you need to go to your HR people and ask them, who is our carrier? What do they allow? What are the rules with workers' compensation if I'm to be injured? Because once you're injured, it is this kind of traumatic situation where you're not necessarily thinking about some of the small details that you could have had planned out or at least understood before you were injured. And now you end up going down a road where you're at a lower level provider because that's where this third party carrier told you to go because it was the cheapest, not because it was the best. And you're having more pain, more problems. It's taking you longer to get back to your normal life because of this decision that they've pushed you into. And yes, they're saving money, but you're suffering, not getting back to work as quickly. And for the employers, I would say, I would really vet these carriers, because just because they're cheaper, you need to find out, where is that cost savings, and is that a benefit to my employee? Is it a benefit to me? Or am I sacrificing quality to get the lowest bottom dollar price? And if that's your goal, fine, but understand you're going to get the lowest quality service. So hopefully this was a little bit informative for people that have some interest in workers' compensation. If you don't have any interest, that's fine, but if you're an employee, you should have some interest, because there's workers' compensation insurance that is supposed to cover you in the event of an injury at work. If you have any questions or feedback on this video, please don't hesitate to send them. I'm happy to answer any questions regarding the body, workers' compensation, anything else. Hope this was informative, and I'll see you next week.